SPT versus Beyond the Game. That is going to be our next series of the day. The day is still young, and we have many more games to cast here. Tetra and I, that is, in China. And RPG, wait, it's actually RPG. Sorry, my mistake, not BTG. RPG is looking mighty good here, actually.
Too many Gs.
Yeah, so many G's and T's. But yeah, RPG is a team that we need to be on the lookout for, Tetra. Ever since they had celebrated the return of Loktar, this team is looking like a completely different one, isn't it?
Yes, it is, and in a good way. No, I don't have an example for this. I was trying to think like who got like a new player in and just suddenly became a much worse team, but I have no immediate example for this. But either way, absolutely, like you said, Loktar has returned. The team has completely swapped who's playing what again. But it's working quite well for them. It's not really been enough to take games every time. Like, they actually only went 1-1 versus the A team, which I was expecting personally a 2-0.
True.
But hopefully they took the lessons from that and are going to be able to maybe even take a game off SPT. Who knows? Let's see. In the past, the team that used to be able to do it the most, even like more than CE, it would,
yes.
would beat literally everyone 2-0. And then lose to SPT 2-0. RPG would lose to everyone 0-2, but then somehow take a single game off SPT. I don't know how it kept happening.
I have no idea myself either, and I wanted to talk about this young man as well. Here's Sa. He has been looking better and better, whether it's the, invigorating aura that, Loktar just emits remains to be seen, but maybe it's just him just feeling better right now. Maybe there's better synergy between himself and Loktar, because those two guys are the team's ranged assassins these days. Very rarely will we see Chicken, of course, in that ranged assassin, especially when there's a Tracer in there, but usually it's this guy, Sa, and Loktar bringing the damage. And with Wrong, who used to play in that team before Loktar's return, it didn't always seem to click that well. On the other hand, though, Tetra, this is a tough mountain to climb for RPG, especially since it's not 2017 anymore, and SPT has become even better.
This is SPT, and with Lucky finally on board with them, he is proving to be their lucky charm. People still might question, but is he better than Jingxi? It's not Jingxi. Is he better than Xing Zhao? The answer is, we don't know, but the fact is, he's winning them games.
Exactly, they're winning much more games now with Lucky at their side, so this is really, really solid for them already. But this man continues to be the one man to basically win them games over and over again. While we mentioned Lucky being, the more subtle ranged assassin carry, like he plays the Phoenixes, he plays the Hanzos, Melody C is usually the man that makes the plays happen. On the Genji, on the Tracer, he's playing those flashy, those hyper-mobile carries, and so far has been doing really, really well at that. And the best thing about Melody C is, ladies and gentlemen, he is flexible. He can play the Medivhs, he can play the Tassadars if need be. This is basically every team's dream player, because no matter what you give him, he's going to make it work and shine.
Exactly, and probably be very good on it. I would argue he is the Chinese Swimpy is how I would describe.
That's a very good comparison.
Swimpy, very well known for just being handed anything and being like, yep, this is fine. He may not like the hero that he's playing, which is a fun one, but seems to work out as we do see the KDA difference still very high indeed. But as you can see here, RPG, they snuck wins in 2-0 to Team Nuts, snuck a win in versus BTG. Should, I believe, have 2-0 the A team, but a win, a single point is better than no points, so they were able to grab a single point here.
Absolutely true. There's a lot of white in that recent match history, and that usually is good news because white means win here in China in this graphics. And so yeah, really, really well done by RPG. And let's see if they can keep up that momentum, not losing a series 0-2 for quite some time. Against the SPT team, the SPT squad, it might be a little bit of a harder thing to do, but I'm pretty sure they can do it nonetheless. If they play their A game, if Sa's having a good day, if Loktar follows suit, could be really, really good for them.
How often do you think pro players Sorry to go off topic here as we are heading into Tomb of the Spider Queen. But how often do you think pro players just go to their team and they're just like, okay, so we're just going to play standard today, and like the tank player comes up and just goes, I am really bored of Meridian. Can we play try and play an Ubrak today? Just try and build something around that.
Honestly, I think that happens quite often, but usually it's the team's captain's job to be like, nope, you're going to get back in line to play that Meridian like you're told to.
Look, team morale's important, okay? Sometimes you gotta let your players run free, and let them suffer the consequences to their own actions.
Am I the only one, by the way, who got really distracted by that headset icon on the top left, which hasn't really been there before?
It has been there before. It's just no one's got rid of it yet.
Oh, really? It has been there before?
Yes.
It's the first time I noticed it, and I was immediately checking my window.
Yeah, it's been there ever since voice chat's been introduced.
All right, my mistake then. Probably just the first time I noticed it, immediately triggered me.
Yeah, I believe, technically, I'm not 100% sure, but if two observers join it, then they can talk to each other. I'm not 100% sure on that.
All right.
And I mean, if not, there's party chat.
Hey, there he is.
This is Jimmy.
This is Jimmy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we see the new Rainer in a competitive pro environment for the very first time. Triple bans on both sides.
Yeah.
Nobody seemed to bother banning the Jimmy.
Dan getting banned out. The Asmo ban. I did not actually expect that either. So, neat.
That is really cool, actually. I mean, Asmodan, a lot of people were really excited about the Rainer work. They were saying, even on the PTR, people were saying, oh, this is amazing. This feels really powerful. For Asmo, I myself received mixed critics, right? A lot of people were saying, yeah, he feels better now. But there were also a lot of people who were saying, he doesn't really have the same playstyle anymore. You're not as good at sieging it anymore. But still, man, those globes, if you manage to bring them in, they hurt like a truck. But for now, SPT decided that it was not time yet to actually bust it out.
And a Chromie coming in, so that'll be a Locktar hero. So, Mr. Kendrick, I believe you promised us a TLDR breakdown of new Jimmy.
All right, TLDR, he's hitting hard and he's hitting fast. He's really good. His trait has seen a lot of pepper love, if you will. Now, after every single, after every third basic attack, Jimmy will have a special shell in his shotgun. And that one is going to deal extra damage and splashes in a small circle around that target. Now, the cool thing is, at level 7, he has a talent called Unstoppable Compound that will increase that radius, and it's actually going to add a little slow there as well. And if you have slows on Jimmy, well, you're going to hit even harder with that level 1 ace in the hole talent. That is increasing Jimmy's damage by 35%. And not just his auto attacks, mind you, all of his abilities hit harder as well. So the Banshee, the Hyperion, his Q, whatever you want to go for, everything hits super hard.
That it does. As we see here, the Hanzo coming in here for SPT. SPT drafting as if it's last patch. And for good reason. These heroes are all still good.
Yep.
But running a Hanzo with no cleanse to speak of into a Chromie, Kendrick. That is a bold choice.
That it is. I mean, we haven't really been seeing a lot of Chromie here in China. But it's seen a little more play, especially by RPG, who have a Chromie specialist, if you will, with Locktar. You see him on the webcam right here, right now. So that means that Sa is very likely going to play the Jimmy, unless Chicken has practiced that hero, and similarly, like the Tracer is going to swap out on that ranged role.
Maybe the rule is it has a gun, Chicken plays it, if not, it's Sa. But either way, they finish out with the Alex Rasa, new and improved. Also, we might end up seeing a Lifebinder in this game too. But for now, we finish out the draft for SPT with a Thrall for that Earthquake Purification Salvo combo. Very solid standard draft coming in here for SPT. Decent wave clear. Not amazing, but easily good enough wave clear. RPG, the Chromie Johanna rotation. Fantastic wave clear. Rainer with a new little AoE every third attack. Also could be decent to assist with that. Alex Strasser as well with her E. Okay. And Blaze for that solo lane. I look at this and tentatively, because this is going to be the first time we're seeing new Jimmy in a professional game, I think RPG got the better draft.
Honestly,
the Alex Strasser concerns me.
I'm also concerned by the lack of respect that SPT seems to, pay towards the Rainer, because they didn't really pick any of the traditional, you know, auto attack blinders. For example, the Cassia, very favorite hero to go into.
Physical
but
armor.
Exactly, physical armor. But by the same token, if you were to rely on heroes like Cassia, for example, who are very good against Jimmy, they're not that good against Chromie, because the moment you drop a temporal loop on her, the enemy team collapses on the Cassia that is trapped and can't move immediately. She's going to get blown to pieces. So by picking Rainer on the one hand, which is like heavy auto attack damage, and picking Chromie on the other side, which is like heavy ability damage, it's going to be really hard for the enemy team to actually counter both at the same time. And it looks like SPT was saying, okay, we're not going to hard counter the Rainer. We're going to go for a well-rounded team comp, as you said, with the Phoenix, with the Earthquake, by Thrall. And we're going to try to win and overpower them as a whole, not by countering individual heroes.
Well, SPT, they're sticking with what they know. They are the better team in terms of points and in terms of previous results. But RPG, they're trying something different here. The Alexstrasza is the only thing I don't really see how it really fits into the draft, but I am very willing to find out. It is going to be Loktar playing that Raider as we are heading into the game number 1 of our second series of the day. And on the left, it is going to be RPG with Chicken on Blaze, MJ on the Alexstrasza, Sar on Chromie, Johanna played by C, and Loktar is on Jimmy.
All right, and facing the new Rainer is SPT in the reds with Lucky on Hanzo, Melody C on that Phoenix, Misaka's playing Muradin, Soap on Thrall, and ZZH on the support on Malfurion. Now, I really want to see how this meta of Rainer is going to evolve, because already in terms of supports, as you brought up, not immediately sold by the Alexstrasza, neither am I. But I can see heroes like Auriel actually come back into the meta. She does have really good synergy with the consistent damage chipped in by Jimmy, gets a lot of energy, gets a lot of hope, and the attack speed at level 16 can also be really, really good.
What is Sar doing? Starting off with deep breathing at level 1. Not even Time Walker's Pursuit on the one map. Do you want to unmute that? There we go, thank you. On the one map that we do have, the easiest opportunity to stack globes has gone for deep breathing.
Yeah, we are used to seeing weird Chromie builds in China, right? We saw Mounting Sands the other day. Now we're seeing Deep Breathing by Sa. Of course, Deep Breathing has a big advantage, and that is, of course, more burst damage, especially if you stack those Ws with a Temporal Loop. Let's see. Malfurion does have Nature's Cleanse. That doesn't cause you to be unstoppable, so you can take care of the Temporal Loop this way. So there's no straight-up counter, so maybe that is their plan after all, you know?
Yeah. And you did already mention, here is the Rainer level 1 ace in the hole, so going for that stunned or slow target, so we might actually even see a slowing sands build coming in.
That is correct.
Chromie.
That is actually the next point I wanted to bring up, right? Chromie, of course, she doesn't have to be played with the Temporal Loop. It can also be the slowing sands, and the more slows you have available for Rainer, as Tetris said, the more this ace in the hole is going to kick things off with 30% bonus damage. So yeah, that's why actually sometimes heroes like Jaina, heroes like Arthas are really, really good now with the new Rainer in Hero League.
I mean, I really hope they don't go for the slowing sands. I mean, it could be good, but that's really all in on just Rainer. So unless you're planning on life binding, which I guess you could with this Alexstrasza, then you're putting so many eggs in the Rainer basket. Yeah. So I would really prefer the Temporal Loop. You have a Chromie, you have that huge damage. You've gone for a Dragon Breath build for reasons, but sure. So the extra damage could be good. Johanna will be able to wrap around here. Nice job by C, keeping himself safe and alive. Actually, he runs into the root, but he's still fine. But being able to get that blow up gives you so much more opportunity, because Rainer, if he's unable to keep up, if they're able to step out of those slowing sands, then they're going to be in trouble. Malfurion's going to be able to heal everyone up again. If you blow up the Malfurion with the Chromie combo and with the extra burst damage that Rainer can offer, then that might be what they need. As Rainer goes for, I believe that's the activatable heal?
So Rainer's heal is now always activatable. That's part of his reroute,
yes,
right? So you can always activate it, and it'll heal you for 25% of your maximum health. So you win for Fight or Flight, which is basically adding a little bit of armor on top of it, while also reducing the cooldown by 10 seconds innately. So that's kind of cool, you know, good burst protection in the middle of a team fight. The standard talent that I've seen more in Hero League and Team League is Behemoth Armor, which is like a stackable extra bonus health talent. And the more you increase Jimmy's health over time, the more you're actually going to get value from the Adrenaline Rush, right? Because it scales now with your max health. So that's a really, really nice thing to do normally. But I'm definitely not hating Fight or Flight. I think it's great during team fights.
I mean, I'm always a fan of infinite stacking talents, so Behemoth Armor is a home run for me.
Yeah.
But, of course, I am one of those crazy Hero League players who just like, it's infinite, therefore the value is infinite. But that does not always work. Chromie, continuing down the aesthetically pleasing talent route. Just going with the full Dragon Breath, Mobius Loop, the cooldown and damage reduction. This is a wave clear build for Chromie. We haven't seen this kind of build in a very long time. And with all this, SPT, they just turned in no time at all.
Yeah, that went very, very fast there for SPT. Looks like RPG was focusing on, trying to wave clear, trying to push a little bit themselves, but they didn't really do a good job, keeping those turn-in points clear. And that is oftentimes one of the most important things to do on Tomb of the Spider Queen. You want to make sure that you have good vision, you track your opponents down so they won't get this easy turn-ins, because while the Web Weavers might not be as impactful as the Cavalry on Alterac Pass, for example, they were still very powerful in the early game. It takes a little bit of time and effort to actually get rid of these buggers. So as you can see here, Sa is having a little bit of a problem here, dealing with all those at the same time, taking a lot of damage.
Look at his Dragon Breath. Look at his Dragon Breath. It does nothing to the Web Weaver.
Yeah.
I don't understand why with this build, even with the extra raid, you should still go for the cooldown reduction. Okay. Every single scatter arrow just hit Raider, and he immediately backs up and is just going to stay near Ixraza because he wants that healing and he wants it right
Misaka,
now.
look at him. He's jumping over the wall, trying to find a target here. Misses the Stormbolt, unfortunately. Good positioning by Sa, whether he sensed it, anticipated it, or just pure luck. He's definitely going to be happy not to fall victim to the Murden Assault. Now, let's see how good of a job RPG did in terms of actually keeping their buildings safe and sound here, right? Middle is still standing, top is still standing, bottom took a little bit of damage, but overall I think they're doing pretty okay. Nice Iron Skin. Johanna is back to safety.
Lockdown does a nice little bit of damage. Chromie continues to at least gain stacks, so that's good. Rainer went for Fuel the Rush at level 7 here. The Adrenaline Rush cooldown reduction, so he's just going for max armor here. Keep himself safe.
Yeah, I don't know. It increases the cooldown, right? So he's going for max heal, and as you said, armor because of that level 4 talent. So...
Yeah. Which I guess is why Chromie did want to go for those slowing stats, because they are relying on Chromie to set up for Rainer instead of Rain to set up for Rainer. I am a big fan of hero self-sufficiency. This is very reliant on a heavy amount of teamwork.
Yeah, normally, like, Unstable Compound at level 7 is such a good talent. It usually gets picked up by almost every Rainer player that I've seen so far, but it makes sense, right? With a slowing sense, you don't really need to have that additional slow. You can basically go for Inspire and your reduced cooldown on your heal all the time. Speaking of which, Lockter is in a little bit of trouble. Dragon Queen had to be used by MJ. They're getting surrounded by every single hero of SPT.
MJ took a lot of damage from Lucky, who is just completely uncontested in this angle here, dropping crazy much damage. This is not a place you want to be for exactly that reason. Scatter arrow, huge damage. Second drop low, 30 gems dropped. Locktar picks up 20 off the blow, but down goes Johanna as well. Another 20 gems dropped. There's the Sundering, another 30 gems dropped. And it's just 11 gems in the hands of RPG on the Chromie. And that was a clean-up job by SPT.
Soap on that Thrall, man. He found the perfect angle in that choke point. He sandwiched them out with that Sundering. Really, really well done. And what's the worst part of this Tetra is not necessarily, the heroes dying, the experience given over to SPT, but it's all those gems dropped and lost forever, for good. Now, how is RPG going to find their way back into this? They had enough to pay. Now they're only sitting at 18, and guess what? Speaking of paying, SPT is having another Web Weaver wave unlocked for them. This is going to be so hard for RPG to stabilize in.
SPT showing why they are considered the better team out of these two. Mafurin not even picking his work, finally locks in the Twilight Dream as his team are ready to push. Chromie, without that center damage, you can see Misaka just shrugs it off and just still, he takes a Chromie Dragon Breath and decides to engage, because that is how tanky he is right now.
Mobius Loop, man.
And how little damage. That Mobius Loop is great for wave clear, not so great for anything else.
No.
Until he's fully stacked. Once she's fully stacked, or once she gets the overpower or whatever it's called, the extra ability power, she might be able to get something.
Level 10 is here now for RPG. That is definitely going to help them out defend and stabilize here potentially. But SPT showing no respect up to this point. They're definitely determined and they're willing and trying to make things happen over here. Are we going to see a Sundering?
Ooh, that was interesting. The bunker to dodge the dragon arrow. Chicken survives. That was neat.
Yeah, but also Soap helping them a little bit, right, with that Sundering. Actually splitting the enemy team into half. So the dragon's arrow just had free passage, you know, and the new dragon was born.
Yeah, exactly. Interesting, but neat. As we do see, Blaze survives. Reina locks in the Hyperion, by the way. Also pretty okay for wave clear.
Interesting. I thought pro players were getting really hyped about the new Banshee. It's only one Banshee, mind you, only one Raider. But it'll stay permanently as long as it doesn't get taken down by the enemy team. It's very similar to the Water Elemental sometimes, the way you control it, right? You maneuver it manually by pressing your R button over and over again. And you can assign new targets similar to the Water Elemental as well. The only difference is it's permanent, so kind of like Misha in that regard. And also, it'll regenerate health over time. So it has many cute little tricks to it now. It can grant vision if you pop it over impassable terrain. It's really useful, but it looks to me like RPG is trying to go more for a teamfight brawly composition here. So the Hyperion is still a great AoE damaging tool.
Yep, it does look really good. Lockdog gets taken out. His armor not enough to save him for the moment. No one was really in position.
Yeah.
That was moving out to protect the lane that was guarded by SPT, and I don't think he knew they were there because they were hiding vision-wise quite well. It was just a good move by SPT, and now they're just using 2 heroes to take down the boss because, well, they can.
That they can. I mean, Hanzo's still pretty good at clearing those, even though he didn't go for the PvE damage on his scatter shots at level 4. Look at that. The cooldown reduction is going to make up for that for sure. And even if RPG, I'm pretty sure they know about it, or at least they suspect a boss to go down, but what can they really do about it? Not a whole lot. Look at Melody C. He's just throwing out the hype, the salvo for good measure.
And all the CC's been used. Melody C teleports away. Dragon Arrow delays any chase. And, well, that's pretty good. And you know you're in trouble when your own assassin is the one standing in the sowing sands because the enemy team is kiting you so well.
You also know you're in trouble when your Dragon Queen gets popped just to help people escape instead of actually trying to contest an objective. So MJ popping it very early, still gets engaged upon by Thrall and Soap.
Immediate Cleansing Flame, nicely done by Alexstrasza, keeping everyone safe. This should just be a slow and methodical escape. Coming in here for RPG. Yes, didn't get their turn in, that's fine. SPT will probably get the gems needed for their own turn in pretty quickly here, but in the meantime, the fort did actually kill off the boss, so the boss value wasn't really gained. RPG, they held themselves together, they didn't lose any heroes, so they're still okay to potentially try a turn in again, and Chromie has finally finished the level 1 Dragon's Breath, which actually means she sorta does damage now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she hasn't completed her Sandblast quest, her trade quest, so she's going to have to land more Qs for that in order to unlock the Sand Echo. But yeah, as you said, the W quest now dealing a little more damage now. That is definitely a good thing to have for them. But look at SPT, man. They play this so patiently. They play this so calmly. They're just waiting for enough gems in their pockets yet again to unlock more Web Weavers. Look at all those lanes. They're all pushed in. Bottom lane is knocking on the keep almost here in favor of SPT. Middle and top are doing that as well. And I think, Tetra, if our RPG manages to hold all of their keeps, they're just absolutely masterful players. I don't see a way of them saving all the lanes at the same time.
Good Iron Skin. Johanna staying in this for the moment. Blaze dealing with top lane. All 4 other members staying in mid. Chromie, once again, she actually kind of does siege damage now, so she's going to be able to clean this up as best she can. Well, it's getting turned on though, Stormbolt, but the bunker is popped. Immediate fountain. Chicken is alive. The problem is, all these lanes, despite all these really nice saving moves, there's still only that many of them. They could really use like an extra 2 heroes to defend against this kind of level advantage. Finally rotating as mid is mostly cleared up, not complete. Mid is finally completely cleared up, as it is now bot and top, the furthest possible away they could do. So it's still just chicken down this bot lane. Tower finished off. Top keep will survive, but very barely. Now it's all about this bot lane.
It's all about this bot lane. 17 to 13, a 4-level advantage. Here goes Melody C. He goes in full force.
Salvo does not get any value here. It got interrupted, so it's on the 10-second cooldown as the Cleansing Flame comes in, gets some good healing output. Dragon Arrow.
Keep is destroyed.
Was that a Dragon Arrow? I thought I heard a Dragon Arrow, but I guess I didn't.
No, it's still available. Still,
yeah, Top Keep did destroy. They didn't actually kill the Web Weaver.
There it is.
There's a Dragon Arrow. As the Dragon Queen, Wind Buffet was interesting. As Alex Strauss is not able to land it, Chromie continues to pop in as much damage as possible. But still, honestly, I'm going to say this. The fact that RPG only lost 1 keep there is miraculous.
That is actually pretty impressive, I'm not going to lie, but I think it's more because of SPT refusing to actually, you know, fully commit to this. They haven't really pulled the trigger yet. Although they're so far ahead, they realize, you know what, if we go just a tad bit too deep, Chromie or Rainer, they could still deal tremendous damage upon us. So they're going to play it slowly and methodically, maybe a little bit too slow. I agree with you. I thought they would have done much more by this.
We have Giddy Up by Rainer here. 10 movement speed while mounted and unmounted, which is pretty good. Inspire also grants an extra 10% more movement speed. Unfortunately, you can't use that while mounted. That would be dope. Get an extra 20% mount speed. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
As we see them move in, they really want this turn, and they've managed to hold on to their gems for a really long time this time. They just would love to get them in.
Yeah, but SPT, they can play the patient time game here. Look at those mercenaries pushing in the bottom there as well. Big scatter coming in from Hanzo.
Dragon Arrow is also even bigger. Salvo comes out. See ya, Chromie. And, well, Blaze got his gems in, but everyone else is dead, so less than ideal. Loktar, he might be able to escape. Does he have his E up? Nope. Down he goes. Chicken, the last survivor. And dead. Full team wipe. Well, at least they got 39 gems in.
Yeah.
As we do see SPT moving in towards the RPG core. 0 gems in the pockets of RPG. Even if they do defend this, they have no way for a turnaround. That's going to be it. That's going to be game. And SPT will take game number 1.
Yeah, unlucky there for Lucky that Melody C stole that 1 kill. Otherwise, it could have been a clean quintuple kill for Hanzo. But even as it is, he's going to be very happy with that quad kill here. Beautiful scatter shots all across the board. As you said, Tetcher, the Dragon's Arrow was top-notch as well. And you can really see how SPT is just walking over RPG in that game. The new Rainer, it was labeled so powerful, and it is powerful, don't get me wrong. But in this game, I think the composition wasn't the right one. The build was a little unusual as well in some of the talent tiers, especially 7 and 4, I believe. However, this is not the last we've seen of Jimmy, I'm 100% sure. Loktar didn't look so good, but under the right circumstances here, I think there's definitely much more value to be gained from the Jimmy. But I really want